All right, everybody, welcome to the show. We're going to go straight into things. I've got 5 need to know great English phrases for you to improve your English. And they're all about that amazing final we saw on the weekend between PSG and Inter Milan. So the first one, a one-sided match. It was a one-sided match with PSG dominating every area of the pitch. So one-sided match, just a way to say that one team performed very well, the other team not so much. Number 2, a walk in the park. For PSG, it was a walk in the park to defeat Inter in the final. If something is a walk in the park, it's very easy, and PSG did make that look very easy. Hammered. Inter were absolutely hammered from start to finish. This is rough. If you're hammered, it's not good. Okay, if you lose 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0 like Inter did, you are hammered. Ran riot. This is a great one. PSG ran riot in the final, scoring at will and completely overwhelming Inter's defense. So run riot or ran riot. This is a great way to say that a team was just scoring goal after goal after goal, which PSG did. I think really Inter were lucky that it finished 5-0. It could have been higher. And last one, number 5, got battered. Inter got battered on the biggest stage, showing no resistance as PSG cruised to a 5-0 win. Got battered, very similar to hammered. You lose 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, you get battered. So those are your 5 phrases, guys. We're going to go straight into things now with Umberto. I'll bring him on and we're going to talk about that match. Hello, Umberto. How are you?
Hi, Matt. Hi, Matt. Fine, thank you. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good to have you here. So obviously you watched the match. Did you enjoy the match?
Yes, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah. Oh, did you expect it to end the way it did? Did you expect such a big win from PSG?
No, I think that no one expected that result. It's a pity for Inter for Inter for its journey for the Champions League journey. But I think that PSG deserved the victory in every part of the match, in every situation of the match.
Yeah, no, they played very, very well. So when you're first doing some analysis or when you're watching a match live, what's the first thing you sort of look at to do the analysis? Are you looking at structure, individual players, or something else?
It depends. It depends on the opponent. It depends on the match. But if I have to say one thing that with which I start is the structure in some situation of the match. For example, during the goal kick situation, I try to understand what is the structure in the building up, what is the behavior in the pressing of the opponent team, or for example. In the offensive third in the last third I try to understand how a specific team try to penetrate in the defensive line, how they try to create goal scoring opportunities, and after that I consider after other things I consider also the set pieces situation clearly.
Sure, sure. So having that structure of how they play is an important starting point, right? You've worked as an assistant coach in City C and City D as well. How does your experience influence your analysis when you're doing these?
I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot because in I think that in the third league and fourth league in Italy you can improve a lot. You can improve from not only from coaches or from staff, but you can improve from players because you can have very good players, smart players, skillful players because the level especially in the third league. Clearly, especially in the third league, the level can be very high. You can find a very good player. So I have learned a lot in terms of not only in terms of analysis, but also in terms of training, constructing a training, how to construct a training, how to prepare a match, and some other things.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I mean, third and fourth division in Italy, still very, professionals really giving it their all, right? It's still a very high level of football over there. And I have another question. In Italy, do you think the role of the analyst has evolved in recent years?
I think that the role of the analyst has evolved not only in Italy but in every nation, and I think that the evolution is directed to an analyst that can be used also on the pitch. Not only an analyst, I think that doesn't have to be only a computer science expert, but he has to understand about football. He has to know how to prepare a match, how to prepare a training, how to prepare a match. He has to discuss with the coaching staff with ideas on how we are going to defend against an opponent, how we are going to attack against a specific opponent. So I think that the direction of this evolution is towards a professional role, more complete professional role of this figure.
Right, someone who's, like you said, involved on the pitch as well as
Exactly.
in the office, sort of behind the computers.
Exactly.
And everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know, a lot of the coaches I work with, they often are the coach or an assistant coach and the analyst, right? It's often a role that goes
Yes.
together. I know that
Yes.
happens a lot. So
Yes.
look,
Especially in the lower league, where there is no
yeah.
possibility to have different figures, different
Yeah,
professional roles.
Budget's often a bit of a problem the further you
Exactly.
go down, right? So everybody has to play a few different positions, you might say. All right,
Exactly.
let's jump in. So if you want, I can bring up your presentation and we can get on with it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Sure.
Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, it's coming up now. All right, guys, we're going to have a look at Umberto's presentation. If you have any questions for Umberto during the presentation, go ahead, put them in the comments, let us know, and we'll see if Umberto can answer those questions for you. So, Umberto, please take it away.
Okay. I start with the result. To get started, we see the result. In my opinion, I think that everyone knows the result of the match. Among other things, it has been an historical final, Champions League final, because it has been the Champions League final with the greatest, the biggest margin victory in the history of the competition. So it was an historical match.
Yeah.
These are the setup of the two teams. In the left image, in the left side, we can see the PSG setup. PSG are set up in a 4-3-3 with Donnarumma that is in goal. Hakimi plays as right fullback. Nuno Mendes as a left fullback. The two central defenders are Pacho and Marquinhos. They play with three midfielders, João Neves, Fabian Ruiz, and Vitinha. Vitinha is the playmaker, and Fabian Ruiz and João Neves are respectively the left and right internal midfielders. They play with three players up front, with Kvaratskhelia, that is the left inverted winger. Doué is the right winger, and Dembélé, we can say that Dembélé is the center forward, but as you can see in the next slide, he played as false nine. In the right side of the image, you can see Inter, that is, as usual, is set up with a 5-3-2. The three defenders are Pavard, Acerbi, and Bastoni. Dumfries is he plays as right wing backs. Di Marco plays as left wing backs. They have three players in the midfield. Barella as internal right midfielder. Çalhanoğlu is the playmaker, and Mkhitaryan is the left internal midfielder. And they have two players, as usual, up front, that is Thuram with Lautaro Martinez.
Absolutely. All right. Great.
We are going to see some details about some key aspects of the match. I think that there are two main aspects of the match. The first one is the PSG pressing. The PSG pressing. I have used two different metrics to evaluate this type of pressing. The first one is the passing per defensive action, the PPDA metric. The lower this metric, the higher is the intensity of the pressing. You can see, especially from the red box, you can see that in the first half, the difference in the intensity of the pressing is completely different in favor of PSG team.
Yeah, it's very low. Yeah, as you said, it's less than half.
Yes.
Of,
Yes, respect the Inter one is very low, and the second one is the challenge intensity. The challenge intensity reveals us how often a team try to regain actively the ball with a defensive action per 1 minute of opponent possession. So in this case, it's different from pressing intensity it's different from PPDA, because the challenge intensity, the higher the challenge intensity, the more better is the pressing that we are considering. So in this case, it's clear that is correlated to the PPDA, but I think that the problem is not. I think that we don't have to consider in an isolated way this value, but we have to consider these specific data that are related to the build-up phase of Inter. And I think that this is the key of the match, because as you can see, for example, in this value, 0.63 is the expected goal for Inter. This is the lowest value that Inter have had during the entire Champions League this year.
The entire tournament, that's their lowest. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense considering how the match went.
Yes, it's the lowest value that they have had for all the matches they have played in the Champions League this year. And another problem that we can see in this data is about the long passes percentage. The problem is not only about the long passes, because they have used approximately 15% of long passes, where the average of Inter in the Champions League until the final was 10.5%. But the problem is the accuracy of these passes, of the long passes, because you can see that the accuracy is equals to exactly to 52%, where the average in the other matches was approximately 59%. So we can say that we can conclude that PSG that Inter has struggled to deal with the PSG pressing.
So maybe Inter have resorted to playing, first of all, a lot more long balls than they normally would because of that pressing, and then also because of that pressing, the quality of those long balls has dropped, right? So it's I think you said like this was a key aspect of PSG's game plan, and they've obviously executed it very well.
Exactly. Another important aspect, this is not a tactical matter, a tactical aspect, but I think that this is a mindset, mentality, or attitude aspect. And in this situation, look at Dembélé, look at the body position and the posture of Dembélé. This is not an open play situation, because the ball is still is an indirect free kick. But look at the position of Dembélé. He's ready to press, and
he looks very aggressive, doesn't he? He looks ready. Exactly. He looks like he wants to hurt somebody, actually.
Exactly. This creates this can create problem in terms of confidence to Inter players. In fact, in this situation, Bastoni is not confident to play the ball short, for example, to Sommer, but decides to play a long ball, and this is going to be a ball lost for Inter. Also, in this case, in the second case, you can see that Acerbi has the ball, is pressed by Dembélé. Acerbi plays a back pass to Sommer. Dembélé keeps pressing to Sommer, and also in this situation, Sommer is not confident to play, for example, with I think Çalhanoğlu, because in this situation Inter has an overload in the ball zone, because they have 5 players and PSG have 4 players. But the problem is the intensity of pressure, of pressing of Dembélé, and this is going to be another ball lost for Inter. The second key aspect of the match, I think, is related also to Dembélé, also in this case, but is in the offensive stage, in attacking phase, and this is the attacking position of the Dembélé attacking position. You can see, for example, that when the ball is on the left side, on the left flank, this is the position of Dembélé, that he's positioned in between the lines. So it's tough. It's difficult for a defender, for an Inter defender, to mark him, to mark him tightly. Also in this second situation, you can see that Dembélé is perfect, is positioned perfectly in between the lines, and it's a problem for Acerbi to mark him tightly. Also in this situation, you can see that, for example, in this case, in the first image on the left, Vitinha is on the ball. Dembélé is like a midfielder in this moment, so they try to create this overload in the central zone, and this is a problem for Inter. Also in this situation, the position of Dembélé is a problem for the Inter defenders, and I think that this was another important aspect, another fundamental aspect for PSG during this match. Now we are going to see more in details some aspects of PSG tactics. The first one is, I think it's a curious thing, because it's about the kickoff, because we are used to see during the kickoff, or maybe short passes, or maybe a back pass, and after that a long ball, and trying to regain, for example, a second ball to create something. In this case, the solution that is used from PSG is to playing a long ball deliberately out of bounds, to create this situation, to create I think that I am sure that is a psychological strategy, because I think that they want to give the Inter players the perception that they are going to be under pressure for the whole match, for exactly, constantly during the match. And
well, I will say about that particular one, you know, I think a lot of people watching at home, like I was, were a little confused by that. It's not a typical way to kick off a match, is it? So it's interesting to hear that you think it was a little bit of psychological warfare right from the beginning from PSG. That's interesting.
It's a non-traditional strategy, but I think that it's a good strategy in terms of psychological aspect. I think that it's a very good strategy. The second aspect is about the build-up. In this case, I wrote creating space, because look at the position of Dembélé. Clearly in this situation, there is no offside. In a goal kick situation where the ball is still, there is no offside. So Dembélé position himself in this position to trying to create this space,
opening up the center circle area.
Exactly, and exploit them, take advantage. Using, for example, in this case, with a long ball from Donnarumma directly to Kvaratskhelia, and with some plays, some combinational play, trying to create problems to Inter defensive line. The third aspect of PSG tactics is about progression. Also, in this case, we have to talk about the position, Dembélé position, Dembélé attacking position, and you can see that during especially during the first half, he is used to position himself in the opposite side of the ball, trying to create to find the correct space to play. And this is a problem for Inter if, for example, in this situation, if Nuno Mendes that is on the ball is able to play with Vitinha that is in this space, that is a good space to exploit it against a 5-3-2, against this type of structure. And if Vitinha is on the ball, receives the ball, is a problem because it's a problem to mark him, to mark Dembélé. In fact, in this situation, Nuno Mendes is able to play with Vitinha, that is able to play with Dembélé, and they are able to create an opportunity, a goal scoring opportunity. Another important aspect from a tactical point of view is the position of Hakimi and the position of Doué, because when Hakimi plays near the touchline, Doué plays in the right half space. In this case, the ball is on the left wide, on the left wing, on the left flank. But they use constant rotation to create problem to inter defensive line. For example, in this case, we can see after a rotation, we can see Hakimi is positioned in the right half space, and Doué is positioned in the right side near the touchline. They have tried a lot of constant rotations, not only with Hakimi and Doué, but also with, for example, the three midfielders, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and João Neves. With Dembélé, that, as we have already seen, drops back to receive the ball and create this overload in the center of the pitch. The fourth aspect of PSG tactic is the pressing, that is a man-to-man pressing. The only player that has to control two different players is Dembélé, that has to control Acerbi, the center back of Inter, and the Inter goalkeeper Sommer. In this case, you can see also in this case, look at the position of the body position of Dembélé, that is already ready to start the pressure. In this case, for example, Bastoni doesn't play a long ball, but decides to play a back pass to Acerbi. This triggers the pressure of Dembélé, that decides to press with a relentless pressing, with an intensively presses Acerbi. And Acerbi plays an horizontal square pass to Sommer. Dembélé keep pressing on Sommer, that passes the ball to, I think, Çalhanoğlu, that is in the right center back position. But we can see that the PSG pressing works very well. And in this case, we can see another important aspect, a fundamental aspect, in order to play in this way, that is the behavior of the players, of the PSG players, on the opposite side, respect then the side where is the ball. In this case, Hakimi, that who has to mark Di Marco, decides to mark him loosely and try to create an overload in this situation, in order to help the center back Marquinhos and Pacho. Now we are.
Before you jump on there, I just want to point out you've mentioned Dembélé quite a few times. He's been involved in what you've said are the key aspects, in the way that he's pressing. You've even mentioned his sort of body, his body manner, and the way that he's pressing might be some sort of like psychological game he's playing. I think I've heard a lot of people say that Doué, was the man of the match. He was perhaps the most vital player that PSG had. From your analysis, I'd say that it certainly seems like Dembélé was very important. So I'll just put out for anyone who's watching. Let us know in the comments who do you think was PSG's most important player, or who really made the impact? Doué, Dembélé, or someone else?
I think Dembélé and Vitinha. Doué, because he made an assist in the first goal and
Yeah.
scores and scores the second and the third goal. But I think that Vitinha for the his playmaking skills that created a lot of problem to Inter, and I think Dembele for me was the best player in the match, because the most important thing for me of the match was the PSG pressing, and PSG pressing worked very well for the type of pressure made by Dembele. So I think
Dembele.
that
Pivotal
Dembele,
with
from a
that.
tactical point of view, yes, was the best player.
Sure, sure. Sorry, I interrupted you. Please continue. Tell us a bit more. Let's move on to Inter, and hear what you have to say about them.
Yes, now I am going to speak about Inter, specifically about the build-up of Inter. This is a situation chosen during the whole season in the league and in Champions League from Inter. They from a 5-3-2 structure, they play with a 4-2-4 or 4-4-2 structure, moving Dumfries, pushing up Dumfries, and moving wide Mkhitaryan to create a structure that we can say that is a 4-4-2 structure. And PSG, as we have already seen, presses with a man-to-man marking pressing. In this situation, Inter decided to play long ball on Dumfries. That is a very good header, not only in terms of physical structure, but also in terms of technical abilities. Is a very good header, and they try to regain the second ball to create some problems in the defensive structure, in the PSG defensive structure. So in this case, Bastoni decided to play a long ball directly to Dumfries. In this second situation, Bastoni decided to play short with Sommer. This triggers the pressure of Dembele, and Sommer decided to play again to Dumfries, and also in this situation they try to create something using the second ball solution, the second ball strategies. The type of pressing is very similar to what we have seen before for PSG. When Donnarumma is in possession of the ball, has the ball, Inter decides to play with a man-to-man pressing. In this situation, Donnarumma decides to play a long ball directly to Doué, and the defensive line, the Inter defenders and the Inter midfielders managed to regain the second ball and start a new attack. So I think that this type of situation in this case works well for Inter. And the third aspect of the match was the low block. Inter decided, as usual, to press man-to-man with a man-to-man pressing when the ball is in the opponent goalkeeper. After that, if the opponent managed to play, they decided to defend deep, to defend in a low block with a 5-3-2. And as we have already seen, the problem in the defensive structure can be here. Also in this case, you can look the position of Dembele that is positioned in this square. But in this position, for example, differently from what we have seen in the previous slides, the position of Thuram not concede this pass to Vitinha. So Vitinha knows that he cannot penetrate, he cannot break the line, so he has to find another solution. And in this case, for example, Inter decides to press more intensively, more aggressively, creating a man-to-man situation on the side, on the zone around the ball.
Okay.
Now,
before we jump on to the goals, sorry, I'll just say thanks to Fabio. He's commented Dembele was more important in terms of tactical presence and Doué was clinical in front of the goal and used well spaces created by the false nine. So thanks for your input, Fabio. And I just have a bit of a question on, obviously, we've just gone and looked at how Inter sort of organized and the tactics that they employed. It obviously didn't go very well for them. Would you say there was any clear mistake they were making in terms of their strategy or tactics, or is there nothing that clear or that obvious about it?
I think that they struggled in finding solution in the build up. I think that this was the most important thing in the match for the most problematic thing for Inter. I don't know if they I don't know if they didn't expect an intense pressing like the pressing used by PSG, but I think that the most important thing was the build up of Inter because they were not able to create goal scoring opportunities, and this has been a problem, I think, during the match,
And I think,
in the dynamic of the match.
as you pointed out earlier, they had many more long balls than they normally would, right? And the quality of those long balls was, and as if you pointed out, that the build-up was essentially long balls to Dumfries.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe this pressing just they were not ready for it. They were not prepared, and they needed something to respond to that, basically. Comment below, guys, and let us know if you think there were any mistakes that Inter made that should have not been made. Let us know what your thoughts are. But go on, Umberto. Let's have a look. You want to have a look at a couple of the not all five. I think there's probably a bit too many, but you want to go through a couple of them for us, please.
No, we can see only the first three goals, because I think that the first one, the fourth one, and the fifth one are meaningless in the match. About the first goal, we have a progression of a PSG progression. We have Hakimi that is on the ball. You can look at Marquinhos that try to scans the pitch and understand where they penetrate to create problems to Inter defense, to Inter defensive structure. Hakimi plays a back pass to Marquinhos that plays a diagonal pass to Vitinha that plays on the other side to Kvaratskhelia. After that, after an individual action of Kvaratskhelia, the balls goes to Fabian Ruiz that played a back pass to Vitinha. Unfortunately, using screenshots, using only screenshot, it's not simple to understand what happened in this situation in terms of defensive in terms of the defensive line. But I can say that on this pass, on this back pass, some players of the Inter defensive line try to push up to left in offside some players, some PSG players, but there is Di Marco in this position that that doesn't allow it, doesn't allow the offside, and then there is a great pass, a great true pass made by Vitinha to Doué that gets him in behind. And inside the box, he managed to pass the ball to Hakimi, that is in the center of the area, is completely free, and he can score the first goal.
He's got a what we would call a sitter from there. It's very easy. So before you jump along though, in that goal, obviously we've said DeMarco. He sort of leaves the team out there by not moving up and not setting the offside trap. Would you say there were any other mistakes made by Inter to allow that goal, or was it just that one by DeMarco?
I think that they are not. If you see this image, for example, you can see that they have an overload in this situation because there are a lot of players, a lot of Inter players, but they are not. They don't work. They don't work well to defend against this type of penetration. This type of.
No one seems to be watching Doué make his run
class.
at the moment, do they? They all seem to be watching
Yes.
the ball So maybe
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, and I think that the most interesting goal is this one. For me, the most interesting goal in from a tactical point of view is this one, because this is the second goal conceded by Inter, and the situation starts from a throw in, from an Inter throw in, attacking throw in the final third. You can see just in this situation, you can see the position of Dembele that, in my opinion,
Yeah.
can be a problem, because if there is a rebound in this situation, it can be a problem for Inter. But you can see in this situation, I think the most important problem, because you can see all these players, all these blue players, that can be a problem if the ball goes here in this space, and this happened with Kvaratskhelia that is on the ball, that drive forward. Dembele try to attack the space to receive the ball. He receives the ball, and near the box, he passes the ball with an horizontal high pass. He passes the ball to Doué. And in this situation, we can see Doué, that Doué who shoots on goal. Maybe, but it's not simple. Maybe Di Marco can try to intercept the shooting, but it's not simple. Maybe instead of how can I say, turning his back, instead of turning his back, he can trying to intercept the ball.
Try and
The
block
ball is
that shot, right?
exactly, the ball is deflected, and ends in goal, goes on
Yeah, you got
in
to
in
feel a
goal.
little bad for Dimarco at that point because he's sort of pivotal in both goals for PSG. He allows that offside to not be set, and then he's it's hard to
Yes,
say he's responsible, right? But the deflection comes off him, and that's
yes.
probably why Sommer doesn't make the save, right?
Yes, but I think that
But
the second goal is a collective error. Not only it's not only a Di Marco error, but I think that it's a collective error from all the team.
you think maybe from like the way they're organized at the point of the throw in from
Yes,
that, yeah, the whole way through, yeah.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
The third one is about the third goal is, I think that you can see the skills of Vitinha in terms of playmaking skills. Because you can see Vitinha that is on the ball, who is on the ball. He cannot penetrate because there is no space, there is no a free man to play the ball. So he decides to play a back pass, and he attack without the ball. He attack the free space that is this one, in order to receive again the ball. And in this case, he can break the lines, he can penetrate and break the lines. And he decided to play a wall pass with Dembele. Dembele plays the ball to Vitinha again with a back heel pass. Vitinha drive forward, passes the ball to Doué, that can shoot on goal easily in front of Sommer. This is the last slide, and nothing.
Yeah,
Thanks
no
for
worries.
listening.
Thank you very much for that, Alberto. Very interesting and very good stuff. Just to finish up, I do have some other questions for you. So, uh, what do you think it is about PSG this season that made them so strong and so formidable? They're obviously they're quite famous for going out of the Champions League in kind of rough circumstances. If you remember the comeback victory of Barcelona against them, I think 2017, 18, something like that.
Mhm.
What is it about PSG this?
I think that the work done by Luis Enrique, not not only. Can you hear me, Matt?
Oh,
Oh,
got a
okay.
connection problem, guys. It looks like.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
That's very annoying. Oh, hello?
Mike,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah?
Okay, there we go. We had a connection
Okay.
issue there.
Okay.
So yeah, the question, sorry, what is it? What's different about PSG this season?
Yes, yes, yes. For me, the work made by Luis Enrique, not only in a tactical point of view, in a strategical point of view, offensive, defensive set pieces, but I think in constructing a strong team, a young team, and I think that the secret of this team is the collective with some individual players like Doué, like Hakimi, like Dembele, like the goalkeeper Donnarumma. But I think that the most important thing is the work made by the coach.
Sure, yeah. And I guess like it's been sort of the theme this season when people talk about PSG, they recognize this season they've sort of stepped away from having the star players. You know, there's no more Mbappe, there's no more Neymar, there's no more Messi,
Yes.
and then there's maybe is a bit more of a focus on that collective
Yes.
effort, that team effort. Do you think that's likely to stay in PSG, or maybe next season we'll see some more stars join the team, or do you think maybe they've learnt their lesson about focusing on
I,
stars?
I think that if they sign some stars, some important players, uh, considering the mentality of the coach, I think that they are going to be all players that they are functional. I can use the term functional.
Yeah,
That are
yeah.
functional. That are
Not
functional.
merely star presence, but functional roles with the team.
Exactly. Exactly. That are functional to the team, to the way, to the style of play.
Sure, And do you think PSG will continue to be, very dangerous team in the coming season, or do you think they're going to need to make some changes to the squad, or do you think as they are, they should be able to continue?
I think that they are going to be they are going to improve because they are a very young team. They are a lot of young players and Doué, Dembele, Vitinha, João Neves. So I think that they are going to improve.
Sure. Cool. Well, Alberto, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for putting the efforts in. And as you mentioned, yeah, it's a bit difficult just doing the screenshots, but unfortunately, if we play any footage, the video comes down. So thank you for your efforts. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers. Thank you, Umberto.
Thank you, Matt.
No problem.